Philippines, Tzu Chi volunteers organized 9 volunteer training seminars in Tacloban to inspire more people to walk the Tzu Chi path. We see how being a DaAi mother inspires许惜满to turn her difficulties in life into triumphs. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Helen Liao. Thank you for joining us. In the Philippines, Tacloban, following the volunteer training seminars in January, Manila Tzu Chi volunteers recently returned to the city to organize another 9 training seminars. Overall, the 2-day event saw more than 8,000 participants who wanted to seize the opportunity to extend their blessings to those in greater need.
3 months on, Tzu Chi volunteers once again are here in Tacloban to organize local volunteer training seminars. Among the participants is Abraham, who took a day off to come and learn more of Tzu Chi's philosophy.
I want to know what drives Tzu Chi volunteers and Master Zheng Yan to help us. I want to experience in person that sort of enlightenment. I want to be like the volunteers and help those in greater need.
It's been a while since our last visit. I hope through sharing the Dharma with Tacloban's residents, we can further motivate their compassion and love from within.
Showing their support for the event, over 8,000 local residents registered to take part in the training seminar. Short-handed, the volunteers had to rush between the training venues to carry out the scheduled 9 rounds of training.
Because our volunteer instructors were short-handed, they needed to shoulder more responsibilities. However, we were happy to do so.
Because of a cold, my voice has become hoarse, but I'm still grateful to have this opportunity to share my experiences with these residents.
Having completed part of their training, participants arrived with their volunteer uniforms on. Everyone also adopts a bamboo coin bank, hoping to pay the love they received from Tzu Chi forward.
I invited my colleagues to join. I told them, yes, we are disaster survivors, but now we have a chance to get back on our feet.
I will invite more of my friends and relatives from other barangays to take part. I would tell them it's really nice to be part of such a training.
We are happy to see so many Filipinos come to take part. Many gave us positive feedback. They are here and have adopted bamboo coin banks because they want to reciprocate. Their unity once again shows hope for Tacloban.
6 months after Typhoon Haiyan struck Tacloban, Tzu Chi's seeds of love have taken root, helping the city shine once again.
In China's Hebei province since 2006, Tzu Chi volunteers have been conducting home visitations in 13 different villages and towns in Taiyuan County to understand the needs of those living in poverty. Recently, 46 Tzu Chi volunteers gathered together to conduct home visitations to prepare for this year's winter aid distribution.
Please make sure to record everything that needs to be documented.
To prepare for this year's winter aid distribution, Beijing Tzu Chi volunteers and their counterparts in Baoding City came together to conduct home visitations in Taiyuan County. Upon seeing the volunteers, Liu Yongxia, who has been taking care of her in-laws on her own, breaks into tears.
My mother-in-law suffers from spinocerebellar ataxia. Sometimes when she can't fall asleep, she will scold me.
The volunteers' encouragement inspires Liu to see her situation in a new light.
对，他已经没有那个意识可以控制自己的，
就知道他是病了闹的。
对对对，这样就好了，然后就宽心的去面对。
要不就说他也受罪，咱也好像是不孝的呗。
对对。
Due to his father's illness, this little boy hasn't been able to attend school. To make sure he does not fall too far behind, volunteers give him some learning materials.
Can you recognize this word? It has pinyin on it. Can you recognize this word? Look, can you read the word 住? Very good.
Thanks to volunteers' visit, the boy is no longer in despair and sees hope for the future. The volunteers also visit Liu Shouguo, who insists on living on her own despite her disability.
挺好，挺坚强。那不坚强，咱都这样没有法了。
Seeing the volunteers' arrival, 87-year-old Granny Liang happily gives them a warm hug.
就好像我个闺女不是骂你了啊，
Although living alone in her old age, Liang's continued optimism has deeply touched the volunteers. In Malaysia's Tambin, to make sure those that cannot leave the house or are bedridden can also pay their respects to the Buddha, Tzu Chi volunteers thoughtfully brought the Buddha Day ceremony to their doorsteps. Praying sincerely to the Buddha is Tzu Chi care recipient Zhang Si-mei, who has suffered from physical problems since birth. She says good health is in itself a blessing.
Deaf people cannot hear the beautiful sounds in life, and blind people cannot see the colorful world. My wish is to enjoy good health and be able to take care of myself.
Knowing that Zhang has difficulty moving about, Tzu Chi volunteers thoughtfully brought the Buddha Day ceremony to her doorstep. This is Shen You-li, who suffers some multiple injuries due to an accident years ago. Today, under the guidance of the volunteers, Shen pays his respects to his deceased parents.
I cried because I thought about my mother. Whenever I saw people holding their children's hand to cross the street, I would always ask myself, how come my mother is no longer around to hold my hand?
I'm deeply moved because my parents are no longer with me as well. This is something that I cannot change. Now I cherish every chance I have to be with my wife, children, and friends.
Thanks to collective efforts of the Tzu Chi volunteers, those that cannot attend the upcoming Buddha Day ceremony still have the opportunity to pay their respects to the Buddha. Every so often, we hear about some young Taiwan inventors snatching gold in international design competitions, yet we hardly see their products for sale. In the following report, we learn the cause of the problem and how Taiwan's youth are staying innovative.
At Hong Kong University in Taichung, young minds are busy at work.
Hey, check out my new nail polish. Do you think it's a bit too red? You think so too? Alright, I'll remove it.
Oh no, it didn't clear up completely, and your nails seem awfully dry. Oh, I remember hearing about Miss Wang's magical nail polish remover. Let's go see her.
Thus, the pair makes their way to the lab of award-winning chemist Dr. Wang Xiaofen.
怎么了？
Oh, I see. This is a common nail polish remover, right? Well, it typically contains acetone, ethanol, ethyl acetate, butyl acetate, and amyl acetate, which make up the organic solvent. It will leave our nails dry, brittle, and yellow, and actually cause long-term damage to our nails.
Dr. Wang conducts a simple experiment to help her students understand the potency of the solvent.
我们可以直接拿保丽龙。
We can conduct an experiment with styrofoam. Just put a few drops of nail polish remover on a piece of styrofoam and see how quickly it dissolves. It shows that a common nail polish remover is quite corrosive.
So, does a nail polish remover that works without bringing harm to its user exist? Under the guidance of Dr. Wang, the students begin their quest for the Holy Grail.
Of course, we won't be successful the first time around. We may have to experiment with several different formulas.
Neither of the girls major in chemistry. Rather, they both major in makeup and hairdressing. However, it does not stop them from breaking the mold, as they have a perfect role model.
Our teacher wants us to search for the root of the problem instead of simply just following her lead.
Our teacher values proper attitude the most. She gives you plenty of room to learn on your own. You must be willing to search for the solution to the problem.
Their role model, Dr. Wang, teaches cosmetics and often comes to new conclusions while answering her students' questions.
For example, say we are teaching our students how to apply eyeliner. They may say that it works great, but it is also hard to remove. When they raise unusual questions like that, it's actually quite wonderful, as people tend to accept without questioning. So by resolving such unusual questions, we have a chance for growth and improvement.
Due to her curious nature, Dr. Wang has made one discovery after another. For example, she came up with this eyeliner and mascara that can be removed with cold water, or this anti-free radical mineral oil, which has passed human testing. Many of her inventions have won numerous international accolades. The truth is, from 2011 to 2013, there were 1,342 applicants from Taiwan in international invention competitions, of which 550 were people 30 years old and younger. This demonstrates that the country's youth is connecting with the world through innovation.
Taiwan's youth have an outrageous imagination. I think compared to other nations' youth, they are even more full of creativity and passion.
However, as Taiwan lacks comprehensive supporting measures, while the backing of domestic market is minimal, these inventions usually fail to commercialize. This is why Dr. Wang was forced to sell her patents in Japan.
The Taiwan Intellectual Property Office, the Industrial Development Bureau, and the Ministry of Economic Affairs have come together to form a technology transfer center, which will help facilitate patent commercialization. Through this government platform, we can complete technology transfer. I believe this is one way to do this.
To commercialize and market a product successfully takes more than simply innovation. As these young Taiwan inventors wrestle for the spotlight on the global stage, they could use some assistance from the government and the public.
Next, we go to Tzu Chi Kindergarten in Malaysia to meet DaAi mother许惜满and see how she lives her life to the fullest despite her illness.
那个变色龙宝宝呢，他就看一看，他说：“咦，怎么是青色的？”
Vividly telling a story, DaAi mother许惜满captures the attention of the students at Tzu Chi Kindergarten. However, as a mother, she was not this approachable.
For example, one time my husband came home from work and my child was still eating dinner. My husband then said to my child, "You're not done eating yet. What's taking so long?" My child then responded, "It's none of your business." I immediately found a thick belt and whipped him. I said, "How can you behave this way?" That was my teaching method.
After meeting Tzu Chi, her methods to raise her child have changed.
Master Zhen often says we should approach everything with gratitude, respect, and love, so I've learned the respectful ways teachers treat their students. This is a different approach which I didn't understand before.
Now she applies Tzu Chi's face cream, which is smiling every day. Even if she had to endure the pain of dialysis and losing her husband to a sudden heart attack, she manages to find her smile each day.
Sister Ximan is very outgoing and compassionate.
Knowing that she went through, I have more respect for her.
I didn't realize that she is a dialysis patient, and now that her condition is better, she's out volunteering. Her spirit is commendable.
Living life to the fullest by giving selflessly is the story she most wants to convey to the children.
In Taiwan's New Taipei City at the Tzu Chi Banqiao Grant, Tzu Shaos learned about the joy of helping others. Meanwhile, Tzu Shaos in Taipei's Da'an district took a field trip to the Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital to learn more about the NGO.
Taipei's Da'an district Tzu Shaos are heading to the Taipei Tzu Chi Hospital for a field trip.
Master Zhen says these pillars are for touching because after everyone's touched, the rough exterior will wear down and it will be smooth.
Listening to a Tzu Chi volunteer, the students gain a deeper understanding of the building's architecture, as well as why Master Zhen insisted on building a hospital to help the poor.
学习到施工上人的勇气。
I've learned of Master Zhen Yan's bravery. I hope to use the same spirit in my studies. I also hope in the future I can be brave like Master Zhen Yan and help others.
I need to remain diligent, then I will achieve success. If I'm not diligent in my work, then I won't succeed.
In the same spirit, life lessons are also taught at the Tzu Chi Banqiao grounds, where Tzu Chi volunteers and Tzu Chings share with Tzu Shaos the right ideals to keep to in life.
It is good to lend a hand to help others, as my efforts can benefit someone else.
Because I have received help from people in the past, I have been able to meet the difficulties in my life. Even though I'm only able to reciprocate by being filial to my parents and helping those around me, I'm still doing my part to help.
Being a Tzu Shao has taught me how to give to others and help the less fortunate.
Learning these life lessons, these Tzu Shaos understand the joy of helping others and thus are able to change the world one person at a time.
Next month is the Dragon Boat Festival, and Chinese people mark the occasion by eating zongzi, also known as rice dumplings. Recently,陽明University Tzu Chings held a charity sale to raise funds for Typhoon Haiyan survivors, in which they prepared 200 of the vegetarian rice dumplings for sale.
This corner of陽明University is bustling with activity, as a group of energetic Tzu Chings are canvassing the love of their fellow classmates.
Accomplishing something together through our combined efforts is touching, as together we are helping others.
The cooperative effort actually began 2 days ago.陽明University Tzu Chings called on their friends and classmates to help make the vegetarian rice dumplings. Even though many had never made a rice dumpling before, everyone was willing to try.
It was my first time wrapping a rice dumpling, and I couldn't get the cone shape quite right. It always collapsed at the end. But as long as you don't give up and continue trying, you'll eventually get the hang of it.
By giving ourselves, this love and time can be transformed into something that is tangible, something that can help those suffering in the Philippines.
We told them to bring 10 people, and if each person can wrap 20 rice dumplings, that makes 200.
200 vegetarian rice dumplings, 200 portions of love. Through the event, each student realized the beauty and value of giving.
In Taiwan, in order to pass on environmental concepts to more people, volunteers in Taipei, Shiling, and Tianmu took to the streets to spread their message to passers-by. And in Fujian, China, Tzu Chi volunteers in Quanzhou have been actively promoting recycling in their local communities, while in search of a location suitable for practicing recycling.
Happily accepting the volunteers' blessing, from this day on, Mrs. Ling's old home is now the 57th Tzu Chi recycling station in Quanzhou.
We needed a bigger venue for recycling, and so we could pay the love forward. I've always hoped that we could have our own recycling station in Xibing community and create a place for seniors to sow blessings.
This less than 66 square meter space is packed with community residents and volunteers. Celebrating the occasion with glutinous rice balls, participants are spending the day learning more about recycling.
We have aluminum cans at home. When we are done eating, we wash them first before recycling.
After the opening ceremony, volunteers give residents an opportunity to try their hand at recycling. In the process, many realize that the cans and bottles they usually discard are in fact valuable.
We learned how to sort recyclables. We learned that these discarded items are in fact still useful. They can be recycled and help those in need.
With the opening of the new recycling station, members of this community now have a place where they can do their part to safeguard the planet while finding happiness and fulfillment.
We will stick to the route and listen for the leader's signal. When he says go, we go together.
Today, Tzu Chi volunteers leave their usual stations to go outdoors to promote recycling. 45 recycling volunteers head to Taipei's bustling Shilin district. From students to motorists, volunteers make every opportunity count.
Before we didn't know about recycling. Now that we know more, we can practice sorting recyclables at home.
We are usually always busy at the recycling station, so there isn't really much time to promote recycling in communities. So this will be our area of focus this year.
As volunteers promote their cause, they don't forget to set an example by picking up the litter they find in the streets. Tzu Chi volunteers in Tianmu also took to the streets. Some used posters, some used slogans, and others rode on bicycles to spread their message.
We can ride our bicycle for shorter distances. Not only does it reduce carbon emissions, it's also good for our health.
In 2008, following the Wenchuan earthquake, Tzu Chi volunteers mobilized to provide hot meals and emotional support to quake survivors. The volunteers' dedication back then inspired many local residents, including Shen Yu, to join their ranks. However, recently the senior fell accidentally and has been bedridden. Upon learning the news, Tzu Chi volunteers visited her with consolation cash and accompanied her to the hospital for a checkup. Upon learning that local volunteer Shen Yu has injured her spine due to a fall, Tzu Chi volunteers quickly arrived with their love and care. Other than offering the senior 3 longevity buns and consolation cash, the volunteers hoped to accompany her to the hospital. 6 years ago, following the Wenchuan earthquake, Shen joined the volunteers' ranks and helped distribute hot meals to quake survivors. Seeing the seniors suffering, Tzu Chi volunteers are extremely worried.
Her daughter works in the city, her son is sick and cannot carry her around. Granny Shen is part of our Tzu Chi family, so we are here today to accompany her to the hospital to do a checkup.
Although knowing that his mother is suffering from tremendous pain, Shen's son, who also suffers from a spinal problem, doesn't have the ability to help her.
I can't carry my mother on my own because my back isn't that great. I can only carry things that are around 30 kilograms. I still need help from the volunteers.
After listening to the doctor's explanation on Shen's condition, the mother-son pair is grateful and at ease.
We are family, right? When you recover from your injury, we can walk the Tzu Chi path together, right?
Thanks to Tzu Chi volunteers' visit, Granny Shen is on her way to a speedy recovery and promises to continue helping those in greater need when that day comes. We go back to Malaysia at the end of the show. Starting from last year, Penang Tzu Chi volunteers have been visiting the Rifle Range flat every Tuesday to encourage residents there to join Tzu Chi's Million Bodhisattva campaign. On the volunteers' most recent visit, they also encourage residents to join the upcoming Buddha Day ceremony. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for watching DaAi Headlines. Goodbye.